both Brian Kelly and Lane Kiffin kicked off LSU Ole Miss week meeting with reporters on Monday. And Lane Kiffin, as he is wont to do, is subtle sometimes with his backhanded compliments and his jabs and his trolling. And I think he did that a couple of times during his weekly press conference. And the first question right out the chute, I mean, the first question of the press conference for Lane Kiffin on Monday was about LSU and their transfer portal class defensively. And it's interesting because, boy, there ain't nobody in college football who has been more married to the transfer portal than Ole Miss. But that first question out the chute was about how LSU got better so quickly in the transfer portal. Here's what Lane Kiffin said.
Well, I think second year in a system defensively helps a lot of times, and they've improved their personnel also. You know, you got 3 of the 4 starting D linemen are portal guys. 3 of the 4 secondary D line are portal guys. So they've done a great job with that. They've heavily financially invested into the portal and made that decision. That's no secret. Coach Kelly's talked about that, how much money they've spent, and it shows. Those are 3 guys that were heavily recruited and probably the 3 most expensive portal DBs in the market. And they got them all. So they did a great job with that. And now they're coaching them really well, and they're playing great.
Most expensive guys in the portal. Just had to throw that out there, huh? And by the way, he's not wrong at all. LSU did go ham in the portal. I've talked about it. We've all talked about it. Brian Kelly did mention the dollar amount that LSU spent. And they have dramatically upgraded their roster because of the portal. And oh, by the way, that's something Brian Kelly said point blank. He was asked on Monday, the question was about Jake Olson and how much credit Jake Olson deserves for developing the safety room. And Brian Kelly, when asked about Jake Olson, veered a complete 90-degree angle on this answer.
Blake's a better defensive coordinator. You know, Kevin Peoples is a better edge coach. We're all better. I'm a better coach because we haven't lost the game. All of these things have to do with your players ultimately are playing the game. Again, we're getting more experienced and veteran players on the field. And from a coaching standpoint, let's not overrate this. We've got better players.
He knows it point blank. By the way, the highest rated defensive back in the portal was Dylan Thieneman, who LSU did want, but he went from Purdue to Oregon. He did not pick LSU, as a matter of fact. As I scroll through the portal rankings, not that it matters tremendously. Tacario Davis was the highest-rated cornerback, and he went to Washington. Trying to scroll here. Jeremiah Wilson was the second highest-rated cornerback. He ended up at Florida State. There's A.J. Hulsey. A.J. Hulsey was the 30th ranked overall player in the portal. He did end up at LSU. Not that it necessarily really matters, but the point that I'm making here is Lane Kiffin is the self-proclaimed portal king. No, really. That's not me saying it. He put out this tweet at 8:58 a.m. on January 31st of 2022. It's Lane Kiffin dressed up like the Tiger King. It's the Tiger King with his face, and over the tiger, it says portal. And it says Portal King. Lane Kiffin is described as he is the self-described, self-proclaimed portal king. And I think he's a little sour that somebody is beating him at his own game. But Lane wasn't done because Lane also took another sort of this little backhanded compliment, maybe, at LSU and the coaching staff when he talked about how close this rivalry has been.
I would think stats would show they've had a lot more draft picks probably over that time, but they've been good matchups all the way back to the first one down there, in which we were ahead and should have won, and the last one down there that we were ahead the entire game last year. So really competitive matchup. Glad that it's competitive because it looks like we're going to keep playing this matchup. So exciting for the fans. So
LSU, you look back, they've had more draft picks, but boy, it's been really close. Boy, we were way ahead in that one in the first year. That was the COVID year in 2020. They were way ahead and should have won. And then last year, we were way ahead and should have won. And you know what happened, Lane? You didn't. You didn't win those games because despite the fact that you have been the portal king and your program and boosters have invested tremendously in the portal and you have elevated Ole Miss out of the runt status where they're the bottom feeder in the SEC to respectability, admittedly, respectability, You have not yet been able to get over that hump. And, brother, that's coaching. That's your fault. Listen, I think Lane Kiffin is a really good offensive mind. I don't even think that's debatable. Very good offensive coach and a good head coach. But what separates really good coaches and the elite level coaches are the ones that have the opportunity, have the roster to go win championships and do. You know what Ole Miss is? Ole Miss is a team that a year ago had the best roster alongside Ohio State in college football. Those two teams last year, people forget this, and I'm not going to let you forget it. Those two teams last year spent more money than any other program in the portal, and they had the best rosters. That bore out in the NFL draft. Ole Miss set a school record for number of draft picks in this last spring's draft. They got Walter Nolan and Princely Umanmielen and Trey Amos and Chris Paul and Trey Harris, and they went in the portal and went ham. And they got better at the line of scrimmage, and they were great on defense and all this sort of stuff. And they lost at home as a 15.5-point favorite to Kentucky. They lost on the road as a 3.5-point favorite at LSU. As Lane Kiffin just said, they led the whole way and should have won. And they lost on the road as an 11.5-point favorite at Florida. 9-3, 3 losses, all as favorites, 2 of those as double-digit favorites. Why? Well, brother, it ain't because of your talent. It's because of coaching. It's because you get 3 possessions in the red zone against Florida, and you decide to keep running a fat defensive lineman on 4th down instead of kicking field goal, taking points, you would have won the game. You'd been in the playoff. Might have won a national championship. Didn't. Why? Coaching. You can take all the pot shots you want. Hell, I think it's funny. I like the trolling. I love the take the over tweet when his daughter and Whit Weeks announced their relationship on social media. I think it's hilarious. I do think he's hilarious. I think he's good for college football. Don't think you're going to go unchecked when you start taking shots about what other people are doing in the portal, when that's been your MO and you keep coming up short. Don't let Brian Kelly come in there, or Swag Kelly come in there, or Vaught Hemingway, that glorified high school stadium, put a pounding on you on Saturday. Old self-proclaimed portal king. Kick. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.